Hello everyone and welcome to another Starcraft 2 replay cast actually. This is going to be a TvZ versus a Master League Zerg opponent, Zacro Management. And myself, the Blue Terran Ketroc, spawning in the bottom left. So this is what I call my troll build, which I think is kind of like the best of both worlds, in that like if you're waiting like, should I cheese my opponent or should I just do a greedy 3-base build? Well, here you get to do both, which is kind of fun. Mostly abusing a map feature on this particular map, but it's very similar to builds I do on Habitation Station in this map, just with a little bit of a twist. So anyways, we're going to build our depot in the low ground at 100 minerals, planning to create a wall off along here, and then immediately send out the SCV along the edge of the map to proxy a command center in the top left. At the same time, we're queuing up SCVs to 15, and at 13 and 19 we make our a gas geyser with our next SCV. It looks like I was a little bit late this game. Kind of forgot. Stealing a gold mineral on the way, because, you know, it's the way I roll. I like the gold. So throwing on that command center, populating this gas, and afterwards we're going to keep making SCVs one at a time up to 19 while finishing off this wall off with a barracks and 2 engineering bays. We don't actually make Marines of this build. If you want to do a variant where you make bio, then you probably want to wall off with 2 barracks or something, but we're going to do it with engineering bays here. As soon as that barracks finishes, the command center will finish around the same time, so we're going to create an orbital and then get I guess I'll throw in the production. Get a Marine, float off this command center to his 3rd, and we're going to build a factory at his 3rd. So a few lings are out here to pick away here. Whoops, it looks like an SCV didn't make it back on the inside. That's bad. Free SCV. This is kind of weird. He sent over this drone super early. I've never had this happen before. So it's not something you really have to worry about. Even if he's going for a super fast 3rd, this command center will be landed and turning into planetary before that drone arrives. Luckily, he wasn't paying attention, so I was able to push it off and restart my factory. But it did give him wind of what's going on, so he's sending Zerglings up that way. I just decided to send transfer workers up to this base. Normally, I don't transfer workers, but I didn't know how many lings he was making behind this, so I wanted to make sure that this planetary got up and didn't get destroyed by Zerglings beforehand. Checking his queens over there, but that's kind of optimistic. Afterwards, you're going to build a tech lab on the factory, which should have started by now, but because of this action, it hasn't. Then your second gas geyser, a depot at your ramp. I'll talk about the positioning of these structures later. Then a command center, and then another depot. All while going to get a siege tank as quickly as possible at the 3rd. Sorry, I think I said depot instead of bunker. Depot, then command center, then bunker. This should be making a siege tank. Guess I'm waiting on the minerals at the moment. There it goes. Once that siege tank is in production, you're going to throw down a supply depot right here. It's important to wall off the Vespene geyser to the edge. There's that bunker I was talking about. Should we call down a mule a while ago? Call down all your mules to this 3rd. You know, obviously this base is on his side of the map, and if he wants to bust it, he can. It'll take a lot of units, but if that's what he decides to do, he'll do it. As soon as that siege tank's done, you're going to want to float your factory over here and replace it with the starport. Filling that bunker. You should probably want 1 Marine on the high ground here to switch back and forth, looking for a Nidus worm. And using the vision of the factory, the siege tank can actually shoot at all 5 of these best minerals patches without vision, it can only shoot at this Vespene Geyser, but you're shutting down 5 mineral patches and 1 Vespene Geyser, which is pretty nice. I decided to go scouting with this factory. This is the first game I tried this. I would definitely not do it again. Because I'm going to end up losing this factory, which means I can't make more starports. Kind of sucks for a little while. It also, the information it gave me was false. Because as soon as I got out of range, he started the lair. I thought he was staying on hatchery tech, so I started making a bunch of banshees. So if he's staying on hatchery tech, I either thought he was taking a lot of bases, in which case I want banshees to shut them down, or he was going to do a big bust on me, in which case banshees would help against any sort of roachling, bailing composition. But I think just making a banshee from the starport immediately and using it to scout his lair and his tech, it works a little bit better. Building a barracks just to give vision, because now you can mine from these patches actually. And adding more starports. So I think I make 3 banshees. Again, that was a misread. If I knew he was going into Mutalisk, which he is here, there's the Spire, I probably wouldn't have done it. But I am forcing out a lot of spores. We got 1 spore in his natural, we got 1 spore in his main, and we got 2 spores out his third. So, Banshees are doing something anyways. Dude got caught, unfortunately. Another Banshee went down there. I think he got 4 or 5 worker kills though. And I got 1 Banshee left on the field, just making sure. You can poke around and try to kill drones with it and come back to repair and then poke back again. Especially with the repair base so close to where he is. But if you're a lower APM player like myself, it's probably easier just to set up on an attack move path. You know, clear out his Zerglings from your expansion spots, clear out the watchtowers, that sort of thing. Once I know he's going into lair and Mutatech, I'm going to add a lot of missile turrets. Focus on defending the siege tank, it's probably important. While making ravens at home. And of course the structure upgrades. High-sec auto tracking and structure armor, good for the planetaries, the missile turrets, and the auto turrets, and the PDDs. All that good stuff. The starport here, I keep it hotkeyed separately from the rest of my starports just because I don't want to rally them together, being as they're halfway across the map from each other. But with this little port here, you can do like little tiny harassment runs just like this, just something to annoy him. He's going to go for a big bust. This will make this game a little bit atypical in that he busts and fails, and all of a sudden the follow-up will become really easy for me. So he goes to the double door entrance, but is unable to take the planetary down. The missile turrets actually kill a bunch of Mutalisks. I do an emergency secondary backup wall with the auto turrets because I don't know how much is going to come flooding in immediately afterwards. I didn't want like another 50 Zerglings come running into my main. But at the same time, throwing down more harassment over here. These auto turrets still exist in that base. And now I get to harass this way. So I'm kind of hitting the peak of my harassment time right after he threw away his whole army. So this is going to look a little bit too one-sided in my favor. These spores are not good versus ravens, but what they do is zone me out. So where I would typically like to jam them behind his minerals, the auto turrets, so the Zerglings can't get good surface area. This way I can't really do that. But again, staying at harassments, my Hellbath production is kicked in now as well, so I can send out Hellbath harass. And I'm just going to keep him flustered and defending on multiple angles. Also using these to kind of scout, make sure he doesn't have like these bases in the corners and whatnot. As these Hellbats move out, it's good to scan to take out the creep, but every time I go to scan, I realize I'd already called down all my mules. Establishing my next base. I like planetaries and turrets, especially when I'm going Master Ravens. I don't have like a legitimate army, so you need to be able to have, you need really good strong static defense. Like this isn't standard mech where you have like a, like 100 supply army of mech. This is just, you got your 30, 40 supply of ravens, and that's about your entire army. So another squad of hellbats going out. Sending out my ravens again. Another harassment around here. Looks like I've actually taken down his natural, so I'm going to go right into his main. Just throw down some random auto turrets and head back, so you can have your attention somewhere else. Crossing the map here. I kind of was indecisive where I wanted to go with these ravens, and I kind of paid the price for it. These hellbats are getting all the distance mining drones, and then going to take out this hatchery. He does clean up the auto turrets at his gold, but at the cost of bailings and whatnot, and losing the space. Again, these auto turrets haven't been dealt with yet, so he's losing his spawning pool. Coming back here with a bunch of auto turrets, he's probably going to lose his gold. That's the end of his army. And no spawning pool and no expansions. No nothing. So that is the troll build. I guess the key moments is probably around 8 minutes. It's when you need to make some decisions, and it's probably a good point to see how strong this build can be. So having shut down these bases, had he taken this gas, he would lose that gas as well. I guess it's good for him that he didn't take it. And like he just pulled 10 workers here, and he really has nowhere to put them because we started sieging his natural so early that his main is fully saturated. The gas is not available, and this base is not available yet. So he really has nothing to do with these drones. So for a while, you've really shut down his income. We're going to see a drop. Well, to about 1,100. So we're making about 200 bucks more in minerals and in gas, and we're about to establish a third. And we got mules. Yeah, I probably don't want to scout with this factory. Starport is done here at 8:40, so by the 10-minute mark you can be in here and check to see if he has a completed layer. Make some decisions based on that. This is optional, I think, the planetary at home. The only thing I'm worried about is a roach bus, which could have arrived like a minute ago, like here. Oops. I'd say 7:45 is typically when a roach attack would hit, assuming you open 15 hatch. There wouldn't be a strong follow-up to it, but it would, it still could be like 7-8 roaches right now. And we could complete a bunker. But it's still... This command center is later than normal too, because I lost some early SCVs and I had to transfer workers over here, which shuts down your early economy. So I'd say normally this command center would be like complete at this moment, but not to planetary yet. You will be making Banshees 2 at a time, but that's not ready yet either. I'd just be starting my starports now, one at home, one over here. So you can kind of buy time and probably survive without having a planetary to natural, but Roach Rush could be a little annoying. And remember, if he is punching you with roaches this early, like he can kill like 10, 15 workers and you're still in really good shape because he's obviously sacrificed a lot to get these roaches out this early. You just can't lose everything. But that is the one thing I'm worried about with this build. It's kind of the way I create this wall off, where I have it walled off solid this way, but I have the option to bring this barracks back down here, which kind of makes it nicer. They're not as exposed to roaches, and then you got the bunker and the planetary behind. Pretty good range. Does leave a small opening here, but that you can consider this like a wrap, forcing him to run around, or you can just fill that in with something. I am tired. So I think with that, we'll call it the end of this video, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. Thank you for tuning in. Check the description for a thumbs up link, and be sure to hit that subscribe button because I put out a lot of videos here, all StarCraft 2 related. And with that, thank you everyone, and goodbye.